Okay, so I'm inside ActiveCampaign, and today I'm going to show you how to change the email subject line in a message. Now, I get asked this question all the time, and it's because it's actually a little bit hidden in the email editor. So what I'm going to do is I've gone to my automations tab, and I've just clicked on Manage Messages, and here this will just show me all the emails that I've got set up for all my different automations. And we can see the email name. This is not the subject title. This is the email name, so the internal name. And I can click on edit here. I could right click and edit in a new tab as well if I wanted to. But we'll click on edit, and then in the actual email itself, if you click on the gear icon in the top right, that will open up the email settings. And here you can edit the subject line, change that to whatever you like. You can also add personalization tags to that subject line. In fact, you can use personalization tags anywhere inside of ActiveCampaign, and they're always going to render correctly before the email or communication is sent. So you could use them in the pre-header text, you could use it in the from, and the from name, from email address, and you could also use it in the reply to if you wanted to. So you can edit the subject line and the pre-header text there. Pre-header text is essentially the bit of text that shows next to the subject line in email clients such as Gmail, etc. It's that sort of unbolded text that looks like the first line of the email. That's quite important if you've got emails that have got images that show first, or if you've got buttons and things that show first in an email, because if those images have titles associated to them, so the info and the image is filled in, then that's actually going to be the first line of text in the email, not this bit here. So most of the time in your emails, you will want to add the pre-header text, and it's usually just a bit of an extra teaser to that subject line to get them to open the email. So I highly recommend that you write or add something to the pre-header text there. And generally the subject line, if you keep that to whatever's going to fit in this box without having to scroll to the right of the box, then that's a good sort of rule of thumb in terms of the length of the subject line. Generally, you want to have a fairly short subject line. They generally do best for open rates. Adding emojis and things in the subject line can also increase open rates. But if you've got a really poor list hygiene, then it'll actually increase your spam and being filtered into the spam folders, etc., because it's seen as a bit spammy. So subject lines I recommend keeping short. Generally, title case, so the first letter of every word is a capital letter. Either title case or sentence case, which is this. And try and personalize the subject lines. That will generally increase the open rate, particularly if you're using their first name in the subject line, or if they purchased a product, use the product name. If you know they're interested in a certain service, use that in the subject line. Really try and personalize the subject line, because that's your first foot in the door of getting them to do whatever you want them to do in the email. It's the most important part of the email is the subject line, and I always try and split test those if I'm getting less than a 30% open rate on my email. So that's how to change the subject line. Once you've made the change, just click on Save and Exit, and then that will take you back to the email editor. Now, with that, this part of the email is actually not the subject line. This is the message name. And if you want to change the message name, that's actually on the next page in the email editor. So we'll go back to the email. This will be the same page as we were on before. Then we'll click on Next up the top right. And that will take us to the next page, which is our email summary page. You can see the subject line here. If you click on that, that will take you back and you can edit it there. And then we've got the message name. Now you can change the message name to whatever you like, because you're the only one that's going to see it. Generally, I would put email 1 and then whatever the purpose of the email is, or the subject line as well will work. Then you will want to update either your link tracking. If you want to change that, you could change that. But the main one here is that you want to update your Google Analytics so that it matches your message name so that you know where the clickers come from, or so that it matches the automation name, so that you can basically see the automation that the emails are coming from, that the clicks are coming from. Now, my preference there for Google Analytics is to change that to the automation name, because the subject line will actually come in as a separate variable inside of Google Analytics, whereas the automation name doesn't actually get passed through to Google Analytics. So I like to pass that here in the UTM parameter. And that way, all of our emails are then grouped by automation, so you can see which automations are getting the most clicks, the most revenue, etc. And then if you wanted to, you could drill down and then see which emails inside of those automations are doing the best. So that's a little bit about UTMs as well. So hopefully that's given you an idea about how to change your subject lines inside of ActiveCampaign, and a few of the other things that you might need to look at, such as your pre-header text, your message name, and also setting your Google Analytics message name so you can identify the email. Hi, I'm Mitch Bayless, and if you're looking for someone to help you with your business automation, then click the button below to schedule your free call today. And if you found this video useful, remember to click like, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos.